decades of experience and who has been a trailblazer in the world of marketing. So, and currently he is working as a principal analyst, CMO advisory at Forrester. So he has steered the course of marketing excellence and innovation over there. His extensive expertise covers such as marketing, strategies, transformation, branding, and much more. And we are going to get a lot of information today in this session. So keep your questions ready so that we have all our doubts sorted with such a huge expert here. And he's a passionate educator, mentor, and founder of Thriving LinkedIn and Entrepreneurs Group as well. So he can be your mentor too, guys. So let's take the questions to him and get our questions answered. So over to you, Shubhendu sir. Welcome again. So we are all listening to you and eagerly waiting for your talk.
All right. Thank you, Amira. Thank you so much for the kind words. It's my pleasure to be part of this forum, this community which Chakri has built over the years. And I have interacted with Raj and Chakri for many years now. In fact, as Chakri mentioned, I continue to, even though I'm not visible in some of the events and conferences which is being hosted by iDoneSEO, I kind of Chakri makes it a point to discuss at least once, about the kind of things which he is trying differently this time. It's a great learning experience for me to be part of this panel for this community as well. So thanks for having me today.
That's great, Shubhendu sir. So we are eagerly waiting. So how you want to encourage our listeners now? Like they are also freshers, they are also experienced people. So it's all yours now.
Okay,
Yeah,
so one thing I would just start with is sorry, Raj, you had a question.
yeah. I mean, that's all right, sir. I mean, before, I mean, were you into guiding or advising CMOs, or how did you evolve into marketing world? When did it start? In IM, or how what made
Okay.
marketing interesting for you?
Okay, it didn't happen by choice. It happened, it just happened. So I started off my career with an IT services company way back in 2003. And I did my fair bit of programming. I was a mainframe programmer, so I did COBOL, DB2, and all of those languages, which probably some of the folks on this call may not be really aware if that is even a language. But I did all of that with the IT company, and then I post my MBA, which I did by way back in 2008. That's when I got an opportunity to choose between two options. One, which was taking me back into the world where I came from, which is project management, and getting to do more things or larger things in the same canvas, or I was getting another conflicting thought in my mind that can I get into sales or marketing, because that side of the world really excited me, and I always felt that if I were to communicate the effectiveness or the value proposition of a product, then people are going to listen to me. That's what I had an inkling. I never knew, but and because I was just getting started after my MBA, I thought that it would be good to start with a fresh canvas and not just looking at growing on the existing one, which I was doing before my MBA. So Uh, I changed my sphere of work to the marketing side of the world, and it's a very funny incident. But then, yeah, so it just happened like that. And then, post that, I have spent time with small sized organizations, very small size, less than 150 odd people. And then I have stayed with them for a very long time, for almost 5 years. And then I have seen the company grow from pillar to pillar and strength to strength. And they have, within about 5 years, the company achieved growth in number of people from 150, 160 odd people to almost 900 plus people in 5 years, which was phenomenal growth. And I have moved from companies. On the marketing side, I have just been in three companies, and then in each of them, I have spent good amount of time. And wherever I have been there, I have seen that marketing plays a really crucial role in the growth of an organization. And when I first came to Hyderabad, I'm not, from Hyderabad. I am from Odisha, and when I first came to Hyderabad, I started thinking that how do I build a community of marketers here in Hyderabad. That was way back in 2014, 15 time frame, and that was the first time when I had met Chakri, and he had the iDoneSEO platform at that time. That was just getting started as well, or probably he was doing already some of the events, and the synergy with him really worked out for me, and I learned so much in the process, and continue to learn even today. So that has been my journey. Paid regional marketing head roles, then global marketing head roles, and now my role is to work with CMOs, chief marketing officers, key marketing leaders in the Asia Pacific region, including India, and helping them how do they bring more effectiveness to their marketing initiatives. What is it that they are doing today, and what is it that they should be doing or could do so that they could accomplish better outcomes from marketing. That's my goal today, and that's what I do as part of my role at Forrester.
Yeah, this is awesome, Shubhendra. So all the way from being a programmer, I don't know if you had chance to meet Sudha Murthy in Infosys.
I no, I had a chance to meet Narayan Murthy,
Wow.
and that too. It was a so I have seen him at arm's distance or arm's length from when I was working in Infosys, but never got a chance to speak to him. It is funny, but when I was in the US and I had put down my papers from Infosys, I was going to do an MBA, and I was taking a flight. I had a stopover in Germany, and then at the airport at around 2 o'clock in the morning, I see that somebody. I mean, it was quite far, and it was like slightly dark as well because it was 2 o'clock in the morning back in 2008. So, and some person was walking, and then I felt that it was like NRN. Then I thought to myself that I just, I'm so emotional today that, I have left Infosys after such a long time that I'm probably seeing things, right?
Okay.
And then the person really came closer and he looked like an RN. And I mustered up all my guts and asked him, saying, "Sir, are you an RN?" And then he says, he says, "Yes, I am." And then he says, "Oh, sir," and then I couldn't tell him that I lost. I quit my job. So I told him that I am an Infosian and I'm so glad to see you here. And it was really great catching up with him. It was like almost 15-20 minutes of us walking together there in the airport. Nobody around us.
Oh
It
God.
was all the time to me. So it was really awesome. He may
Probably.
not remember, but for me it is like
I mean, if
life moment.
yeah, if you had the MBA flavor, or probably if you had the sales and marketing background during then, I guess you would have documented that with your cell phone.
That's right. That's right.
But over to you, Humera. Thank you so much for sharing that quick once. Even Archita is here, another panel speaker, upcoming future panel speaker. So most of the listeners, Akram, Priya, Achyut, Ravi, Archita, Mohammed, Ritu Jain. Oh, Ritu Jain is back here, Naresh Viber. Please make sure you put down your questions. Also, keep writing them or sharing your learnings as you write down. Over to you, Humera. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Raj. So, how you want to go, Shubhendu sir? Like, do you want me to put the questions, or you want to share something before we put the questions to you?
I'm okay either way. If you have any specific thoughts in mind, questions in mind, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yes, yes, sure, sure. So, as you have 2 decades of experience, so we want to know, like, how has the landscape of marketing evolved over the past 2 decades? So, what are the things you have seen changing and updating and going down? So, we want to know that.
Okay. Marketing has changed quite a lot. I started my true career with marketing in 2009. That was post my MBA. And those are the days when digital marketing was just getting started, and my CEO said that you have to set up the entire digital marketing practice. And he said that it is, in that time, we were saying that it is not digital marketing, it is e-marketing. So we were, and I said that you have to do all of the SEO and then think what these Google ads are, what these Bing ads are, and all of that, right? So he started all of that. So I have seen that And the first 3 years, till 2012, phenomenal traction from whatever you put on the website, whatever you put on your Google ad campaigns, everything was working like a charm. And slowly the effect of that started, coming down as more and more people started coming in, competition increased, cost of the keyword started increased and all of that. So I continue to see that digital marketing stays a very significant channel now it is just that we have a lot of knowledge, talent which is available, and so the competition is available. And everyone looked at digital marketing as a field which is growing, and that's the reason why they continue to invest more and more budgets into this area and train more people or get talent who can really deliver results from these initiatives. So that's one which I have seen, that the dominance of technology enabled or technology driven marketing has really started. Back in those days we didn't have anything such as intent data. Today we have, right? We are talking about intent data without even people coming to your websites and all of that. You are still able to target people. You are still able to
Yes.
position the right campaigns at people who you think may be interested based on the intent data which they have shown, right? There are even start looking at some of the new technologies which are coming in today with generative AI. Everyone, it's the talk of the town, right? Everyone talks about it now. With generative AI today, it is just about content, but then I have spoken to multiple organizations where they are trying to see how they can refine their customer personas, how they can refine their messaging for the customer personas, how they can write the entire sequence of automated emails for reaching out to each of these target audiences. So I see that personalization as a trend, which was kind of back in 2003 days when I started my career. In those days, when we talked about marketing, it was probably more of a support function or PR, right? It would be positioning yourself in the ads, in the newspapers, in the television, and so on. So those are for mass media. That move happened to digital, where we could reach out to individual users. And now what we are looking at with generative AI is we customize the content for every persona, and that too on a almost autonomous way. And I'm sure that as we proceed from here, marketing will continue to change from just being a support function to becoming an enabler of growth. So it'll focus more on revenues. And I'm sure a lot of CMOs today even have, revenue generation as one of their key goals, if not the
Yes.
only goal, right? So that's how the change has been. Earlier it was just take care of the website, or have presence in sales collaterals, marketing collaterals, events. But now it is becoming more accountable marketing, which is coming into
Yes.
play.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, audience, do you have any questions? You are free to raise your hands and we will pull out in the speaker section and you can ask it. So, if you have any questions, just raise your hands. You're welcome for that. So, we have one more question, Shubhendu sir. So, what are
Yeah.
the key trends do you see happening and is shaping its future for marketing? Like now we have AI. So, anything coming more than this or any shaping happening
Okay.
to marketing?
Yeah, see, technology will continue to grow in dominance. That is for sure. Today it is generative AI. Tomorrow it might be something else. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, we have to start looking at what are these technologies trying to do with marketing? Why are these technologies coming up, and why are we marketers, eager to use these technologies? So we have to take a step back and understand what is the intent behind marketing in the first place. Our intent is to make sure that the customer base, or the prospective customer base which we are looking at, they bring us into their awareness set, they bring us into their consideration set, and then finally they get us to their preference set, saying that I prefer to work with this particular company. That's the prima facie aim of any marketing exercise. So we are trying to focus on customers. So now any technology which is going to help me understand my customers or prospective customers better, I will start using that technology as a marketer. any technology which helps me to influence my customers in a better way so that I can deliver the value propositions which I have with my product or service better to the customers, that also I will be using. Anything which is helping me to make my customers my advocates of my brand, that is also, if there is a technology which comes up, and I would start using that. While I'm say that, there are technologies, there are tools and platforms which are available which help you on the customer advocacy side as well. And if you are following the marketing tools landscape, now it is almost unrecognizable.
Yes.
Every area, every subsection within marketing, subdomain within marketing has plethora of tools which are available, which marketers can use. So it is continuing to, or going to continue to be, technology driven. But then technology is the means which will help you achieve the objective which you have in mind. So I think that will dominate, that will continue. So the intent data stuff, the generative AI, all of that, whichever, they may not exist in the same format today, but may transform into something else. But we will continue to know our customers better and influence their mind share better, right? So that's one. The other thing which is coming to my mind is that marketers will continue to play an increasingly dominant role with their customers. Today, we are doing that with only our buyers. We are focused on new customers, getting or net new revenue. That is what we are focused on. But more and more marketers, more and more key marketing leaders are now focusing on how do I do more with my existing set of customers. So that is another shift in the marketing landscape which we are seeing as well. And of course, with B2B, things get a little complicated because
Yes.
in case of a B2B, it's not one individual taking a decision just for him, right? He or she is taking a decision on behalf of their employer. So there is a risk reward mechanism which also comes into play. So where, whenever there is a new B2B purchase which is happening, people feel that the rewards of this B2B purchase will accrue more to the organization, and if something goes wrong, the risk of this B2B purchase decision going wrong, that will fall on the individual. So people are kind of, they take a decision to choose the safest solution out there and not the best solution. So marketer has a role to play there as well. So these are some of the trends which are coming up as you start getting to understand your customers and buyers better with these technology tools and platforms which are available. You would start seeing that marketing is also evolving to adapt to meet those changes. So these are some of the things which will continue in the future. And if you see, a lot of influencer marketing is picking up, not just in B2C, but also in the B2B side, where
Yes.
you're right. So both B2B and B2C are seeing huge importance of influencer relations. So marketers have a huge role to play in so many of these areas. The
Yes.
future of marketing is bright, and that is, but it will continue to evolve. Yeah.
Yes. As long as it is continuing to evolve, we should also make sure that we are adapting each and every technology and doing multi-channel approach so that
Yeah.
we don't miss something. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's great. So we have a quick question from one of the listeners, Achyut. If any of the listeners also have got questions, please raise your hand. I'm glad to see Neil David, our brother, Kiran Kumar, Chamadgunta. So Priya, Chaitanya, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. And Achyut, please unmute and ask your question quickly. Thank you.
Hi Shubhendu sir, it's so happy to listen you out over here. So
Hi.
actually I'm a student. I'm currently pursuing my engineering. I have
Okay.
some questions I wanted to ask you from so much of time. So the first question is, what are the key principles of marketing for you or according to you, and how can we apply them in today's digital age?
Yeah, before you answer that, Shubhendu sir, so like from programmer to sales background, when you were programming, obviously when you were coding and all, I guess you might have never expected that you'll be sales and marketing. So for a BTech guy or any of engineering students out there, probably you can add in that flavor to Achit's question. Do they need to market
Sure.
themselves? And yeah, thank you.
It would be an added benefit for people like me.
Okay. So, see, the principles of marketing continue to stay the same. Okay, the ultimate objective of marketing, if you step back and say that, okay, what is it that marketing is really doing? I always give this example whenever someone asks me, where does marketing play a role in an organization? So think about a mountain, right? A hill, right? A hill. So there are few people who are standing at the foot of the hill, and there are some people who are standing on the top of the hill. So the person at the top of the hill starts saying that this is our product, this is what we have, and he is facing towards, let's say, one side, northern side of the hill, right? So that people on that side of the hill can hear. So he says that this is our product, this is what we have built, it is revolutionary, it is going to change your lives, and so on. That person at the top of the hill is not able to see any individual people. No, he is just referring to a group of people on that side of the hill. So that guy is the marketer at the top of the hill, right? At the bottom of the hill, hearing that sound, hearing somebody speaking and then listening to what he was saying or she was saying, there are a group of people who start walking towards the mountain and come closer to the foot of the mountain. And then there are some people who are standing there and then say that, so what is this product all about? And then that person who is at the foot of the mountain, he or she starts, speaking one on one to the people who have come in. So the people who have walked in become your prospects. The prospects are speaking to the salespeople on one-on-one conversations. The sales and marketing actually are doing a similar job of making sure that there is a sale which is happening. But then marketing is positioning and speaking to a segment of people, not an individual person, right? So that's the basic difference. Now, if you start looking at it, why would a prospect or prospective customer, why would they even listen to someone in marketing? First thing, it has to be that whatever marketing talks about, it has to be grounded in reality. In the sense, there is a product which is there, and marketing cannot operate out of thin air. There has to be substantial base based on which marketing will make a statement. Now, the statement can be forward looking, which is fine, but there has to be some base which is out there. That's one. Second is the person walks towards the mountain or the hill only because they feel that whatever the person at the top was saying, it is relevant to them. So the first principle of marketing is to make sure that you are grounded in realism. The second principle is that you must ensure that you have your customer or prospective buyer in mind before even you start your marketing planning, before even you start your marketing, campaign tactics or your messaging or all of that. So think that if I were in the shoes of the person who I am trying to pitch towards, what is it that they would try to know from me? So if you stick to these principles and be relevant to every conversation which is happening, I'm sure that you do great in marketing. And I've seen that great marketing teams, very successful, very effective marketing organizations who have succeeded in building a brand for their organizations, they have always focused on the end outcomes, that how is it that I can deliver value to the customer? What can I do so that I can educate him more? And what does a buyer need? A buyer needs information about the product and service, how the product and service can solve my problem. So if I'm able to deliver that in my messaging to the buyer, that's it. It's the job done. So that's how I would put it without complicating it too much, that it has to be focused on the customer or the buyer, and it has to be grounded in realism.
Oh wow, sir! Really, a very simplified way of you have answered my question, sir. And there is the other question which I wanted to ask you, sir. So, what is the advice do you want to give to students or new beginners to gain practical experience or any internships in marketing so that they can kickstart their careers in the field according to this generation and this era?
I'll tell you this, that there has never been a better time than today to get into doing something like this. The first advice which I have, and whosoever I have met one on one, I continue to say the same. Do not focus on the compensation part. Do not focus on the financial rewards when you are getting started in a new field. be it marketing, be it sales, be it any area which you are working, don't focus on the compensation aspect of it for the first 5 years. Make sure that you are learning all the dots wherever, whatever you can get from whoever, who is available within the organization in your proximity, and also in, from other organizations, from other meetups and groups and communities like this. That is going to give you the truest value add. Now, the first thing which, people who are getting started with, they can do is some of these internship opportunities. Now think about this. I always say that think from the other person's shoes. Why would somebody take you as an intern? Let's take with that question, right? So the first thing, why would someone take you as an intern when they know very well that you do not have an experience in the field? Why would they take you? So first of all, they will not pay you. That's number one. If you are open to that, and that was my first point, that you are not fixated on the comp aspect, then all of these startups which are coming up today, they are actually struggling to get people to do their own marketing. Sometimes it's a very technology driven or technology founders working on products, building some great, amazing products. But they do not have the bandwidth, they do not have the capital, because most of them are bootstrapped, right? So they do not have the capital to do marketing. Now, that's a great opportunity for every marketer to reach out to organizations who they want to. So you can choose. This is the only place where you can choose which industry you want to work with, what sized company, where should their operations be. You can choose everything and figure out who the startups are, and then approach them saying that I want to help you in building your marketing practice. I can help you with A, B, C, D, whatever, all of those things. Whatever you feel that you want to learn, you say that I will learn and I will continue to deliver. Trust me, if not 100%, 50% of those people will respond to you saying that I just need help with this particular area in marketing. Let's say I want you to write some content for me, or I want you to write, some of the campaigns for me, some emails for me, take care of my messaging. All of those become your areas where you can learn. Do some free courses which are available on some of these crowdfunding, not crowdfunding, like educational sites such as Coursera and all of that. Wherever you find some courses, do those courses and then get to work on the startup. You get experience, and then put all of those on your profile. So whenever you are actually applying for a job, you can say that in my spare time, I did all of these courses and I didn't stop there. I actually went ahead and I started working with these startups. One is in a crypto field, one is in healthcare field, the other is in some IT field. And I have worked with each of them, and I understand what does it take to make such a thing successful. And so you are in for a marketing career, my friend.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm looking into that, and seriously, you gave a different perspective of looking things and how we can approach people and how we can approach internships or how we can approach the companies. And one similarity which I found in your words is that even the Raj Mesa sir says the same thing. Like when I met him in the first meeting, he said me that nothing is a great time than doing now, and I correlated your both over there.
Thank you, Achut,
Yeah.
for that quick acknowledgement. That's a great analogy, Shubhendu. Like the peak I feel is Chakri doing the iDoneSEO events. At the Valley, we were talking about the sales and marketing. But we have another question, Humera, before we continue. So the Chaitanya, you can unmute yourself and please speak.
So, Raj, I don't have a question. I just thought I would add a perspective to this. If that is okay, I can go ahead.
Uh, yeah, Shubhendu sir, is that okay if another listener would like to
Yeah,
share?
absolutely. Please
Yeah,
go ahead.
sure, Chaitanya
So,
Bedi sir.
great, thank you. So it's very interesting to know that students are asking questions on marketing, particularly engineering people. So Achyut, first thing you need to realize is that everybody is in sales. So everybody is selling themselves or their skills every day. It may not be called sales and marketing, but fortunately we are doing that. So today, what is happening is with the advent of generative AI, identifying the customer persona, identifying their aspirations, motivations, and frustrations becomes very easy. So in 5 minutes, you can actually draw out a 1 year plan with all these things in line with which telling you what message, what kind of oiling you need to do your sales engine. And then you just have to address, create content that will supply those frustrations, and then your sales start happening. And if you come to Bangalore, you will see a lot of 22, 23 years old already retired for life. So that's the opportunity you are looking at, right? So that's one point I thought I would add. Shubhendu, great points, man. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking about this.
Thanks, Chaitanya.
And over to you, Humera. Thank you so much, Chaitanya, sir, for sharing that. Probably your last name reminds me of the water bottle brand. I'm not sure if that's on your Aadhaar card also, Bailey. But thank you so much, sir. That's
Thank
a
you.
great insight. And definitely, Hyderabad is also catching up with Bangalore. We do have youngsters out here who is also, what you said is totally true with respect to marketing and the youngsters who are trying to sell themselves and retire before 2020. So, Humera, over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you, Achyut, and thank you, Chaitanya, for your wonderful questions. And next, we have one more question. So Shubhendu sir, what is the best advice you can give to the upcoming startups? So there are many startups coming out now, and they want to enter digital landscape. So what is the best advice you can give them?
My question to the startups would be that why would they want to enter the digital landscape? So, is it because digital provides, that question has to be answered. That's what I mean when I said my question to them is this. Um,
Yes.
they don't have to enter the digital landscape because everyone else is doing it. They have to enter, and that's true with any technology, right? So, like I said, the using a new technology or leveraging a new technology, that has to be in alignment with what you really want to achieve. Now, let's say you want to reach out to the top 500 companies in the insurance sector in, I'm just giving an example, Europe, right? I'm just saying. So, is digital going to deliver you access to that? Is digital the channel? If yes, very well approach, use it, and make sure that you are reaching out to them. Now, or is is there something else which can provide you a similar kind of an outreach? What else can you do, right? Now all of that can be clubbed under digital because the way you interact with people these days, when you are all geographically separated, it has to be through the digital media. So I would say that just looking at don't just look at entering the digital landscape. Focus on how do I make sure that my voice resonates with my target audience. And for me to do that, I could probably use digital as a medium. So I can invest more into building partnerships. I can invest into building more partnerships with organizations who are working with the same target audience customers. And now I can use digital as a medium to reach out to not just my direct prospective customers, but also my direct partner prospects. So that using digital mediums, I can reach out and build relationships with my partners, using which I can use them as a launch pad to reach out to multiple businesses in that region or in that industry or whichever. So that's how I would put it, Humera. It's more like start thinking: is this step going to accelerate the way in which I am, the time, is it going to reduce the time? Is it going to accelerate my speed? Or is it going to increase my reach or to my prospect base? So what is it that digital is helping me do? Once you have an answer to that question, then you start looking at what are the channels which are allowing me to do so. And then you start deciding with what cost or at what cost. So if channel A, which is your ads, that is enabling you to reach out to your prospect base or partners or vendors or whichever in X amount of dollars or rupees, then channel 2 or channel B, how much is that costing me? And then you do your cost benefit analysis. How much time does it take? Sometimes, we do ads because we want to make sure that our messaging reaches out to the buyers instantly. The content marketing probably may take time and so on. So you have to start looking at what kind of budgets I have, what kind of time frame I'm looking at to measure success or achieve success. And then you have to start looking at this entire thing as a medium to achieve your end. So so this is not a simple exercise. My advice is that do this initiative first. Make sure that you spend time planning, than getting in. See, everybody is doing a social media page. But what is the use of the social media page if there are people who are not coming onto the page? And why are people not coming to the page? You might say that, but Shivendu, there is so many companies, there are so many of them who have the LinkedIn pages, they have similar kind of products. So what is it that which is unique to you about your customers? What? So then, do you think that channel is overcrowded? If that is overcrowded, your time to effectiveness is going to be longer. So, what are some of the ways in which you start using? So, every startup has to do this analysis first, while you continue to do some of the basic stuff, basic hygiene, which is like a website, a social media page, and all of that. But to increase the engagement of a social media page, that's where the true rigor comes in. And I'm sure, all of the folks on this call, all of us are marketers, and you'd understand that getting engagement on social posts, that's the toughest thing to do, because people have to, join, people have to engage from their own interest. You can't push it to people. So that's how I would put it. I hope I answered your question, Umera.
Yes, Shubhendu sir, it's really an amazing answer which I have heard for this question. Like people will start giving advice or some points to consider. But you said it to find the purpose of you for going digitally and then work on going digitally. So that is very good answer.
Okay.
Yeah. So also you have mentioned in your profile that you are mentor of Change for Atal Innovation Mission. So you are involved in education and mentoring over there, right? So what advice
Yeah.
would you give to next generation marketers or entrepreneurs looking to make impact?
Okay. See, Atal Innovation Mission is an initiative by the Government of India, and what they do is, they assign mentors to different schools. So schools which are in the rural areas, remote part of the country, and the purpose of that mission is to instill innovation spirit, creativity, and all of that within the minds of young children. And so you motivate them, you make sure that you are telling them that this is how the world is shaping up nowadays. Internet has kind of reduced the amount of coaching which was needed, but the purpose of this one is to handhold specific ideas at the school level. So from class 6 to class 10 kind of age group, that kind of in the high school, I would say. If there are ideas which are bubbling up within students, you make sure that you take the idea. How do you help them with market entry strategy? How do you tell them that you can take this product and it actually has a market somewhere? Build on this prototype. Who do you reach? So this is more kind of supporting students or children in rural or remote part of the country, and helping them augment their creativity and giving them the direction which is needed. So that's not purely marketing per se. It is more like how do you empower people? How do you empower children? That's more
Yeah,
about it.
it's actually a great initiative. So
Yeah.
we have many complaints with our education system right now. So if something like this is added, then that would be a great add-on.
No, absolutely. There are a lot of, and this Atal Innovation Mission has been active since multiple years, and now they conduct competitions at school level, at district level, at state level, and then all of the top ideas of the country, they actually get presented at a very high level, meaning to very senior leadership in the Indian government, and then based on that they start getting funding. They get attached to different corporate houses as well, who can do the funding
Wow.
part. So all of that is happening. So this is how India is changing, and all of us have a role to play there. All of us have a role to play there. So wherever you may not do that through Atal Innovation Mission, not everyone can, or I'm saying that not everyone should join as a mentor, but then we can do mentoring at our level to anybody who is reaching out to you for information. If you have
Yes.
that experience, if you share the experience, I think that's the best gift which we can give to anybody.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you, thank you. That's more electrifying conversation between both of you, Humera and Shubhendu sir. So, if any of the listeners, Neil David brother, please raise your hand. Ravi Teja, good to see you. Sakshi, good to see you. Archita, Kiran, Kunal Bhatt, one of the writers. So, if any of you have questions, please raise your hand by using the React button. There's a button which says show your emotion. Or apart from React, I guess there will be a raising hand. So unless we have any listeners raising their hands, over to you, Humera. Thank you.
Yes. So you have been recognized as one of the most influential person in global marketing leaders, right, Shubhendu sir? So what are the qualities and skills you believe that are essential to become to generate a leadership thought in an individual or from within?
I will tell you what I like to do. I do not know whether that is the thing which is the most important one for a marketer. But I always look at two things. One is that I think from the other person's shoes, like I have said, and the second is I am very outcome focused in the sense I measure data points. I look at it is very easy to fall in love with what you are doing and then feel that okay, I mean results have not come now, but then results will start coming in after the next 3 months or next 6 months and so on. But one thing which has always kept me grounded is that if something doesn't work, I accept it that it has not worked and there is something which I have not learned properly. So I start speaking to people. My biggest strength has been connecting with people, getting ideas from them. There is no way that an individual person can generate all the ideas by himself. So I always, whenever I have a great community, and communities like this, and a lot of times, whenever I'm struggling, I make sure that I tap into the feedback of the community. There are many people who I have reached out to, and I continue to reach out to for advice on how should I steer a particular problem. There are very interesting challenges which come up to me today, these days, when I speak to CMOs, and then sometimes when I look back, I see that these are challenges which I have faced when I was a CMO and I was delivering all of this. So I would say that the one of the critical aspects is thinking from the shoes of the customer for whom you are trying to do all of this. You are trying to write content, you are trying to run ads, you are trying to create a website, create collaterals, go to events. So think from their perspective. What is it that they would want? They are not looking at the fancy brochure. They are not looking at the fancy name or the great iconic logo. They just have a problem. They want to solve it. If your product is able to solve them and you as a marketer are able to articulate that really quickly so that it catches their attention, they will read on. That's it. They will read on. And as they read, they will be able to discover more and more how you can deliver value to them, to their problem. If they feel that your solutions are delivering half the value which they are looking for of whatever problem they were facing, and your solution is only giving you them the half, they may not be interested. And that's when you see that people read to a certain point and then they bounce off because they feel that they you are not providing the right solution for them. So I would say that focus on the customer. That's number one. And second, observe the outcomes. Make sure that there are metrics. There are areas you might say that for brand, how do I measure? How do I measure my brand strength? There are absolutely n number of ways in which you can measure your strength of the brand. That's a longer conversation. But then for everything you do, if you are able to measure and then take it on yourself, not on the team, take it on yourself, that you would start learning. Probably there is something which I missed to understand. Probably there is something I overlooked. If you start looking at some of those aspects by looking at the data, you would realize where you have to fix. Take help from communities, and that's why I have also started communities on LinkedIn and in the meetup groups. The LinkedIn community I started way back in. So it's a LinkedIn group, right, on content writers, and I started that way back in 2010 when I was working at the startup because I needed some content writers to do some work for me. That group within the last 10, 14 years, it was like at 2000, 2500 people before COVID. After COVID, it grew to almost 30,000 people in that group. Today, it is at 280,000 people from all of the countries across the world, and it's a very engaging group. I continue to spend at least nothing less than 40 minutes moderating the posts or curating the content which gets published in the group. So I get all of my energy and my inspiration from the group, and I ask questions. I reach out to people. I don't have absolute hesitation. I don't have any hesitation to reach out to anyone. If I don't know something, I don't know something, right? So it's always good to ask rather than continue to experiment blindly. And when you start looking at some of the success stories and you learn from them, that's the best value you can give to your organization for which you are working or for which is your own organization. So these are the two things, Yamera, which I would like to focus.
That's great, Shubhendu sir. It was a very prompt answer. So one more thing, it's a kind of personal question, not relevant to marketing. So many people will relate this question to. So what I want to ask is how to manage all the things by having all this. We do have social media, so we sometimes get involved into it so much that we don't. We usually forget doing our priority task, and how to manage all this with discipline. Is there anything you follow, and how is your experience with this?
No, I would really appreciate if someone from the audience can come up and answer this question. I would like to be the audience for this one and not be a speaker because I feel that there are so many things which continue to fall off the plate or get pushed for later for me as well.
Anybody from the listeners, please raise your hand. Probably we can have Chaitanya back or Ritu. Ritu, good to see Ritu there. Neil David, Kiran, Raviteja. Anybody who would like to join? Kunalji, raise your hand if you would like to answer that. Now I wonder if the listeners are listening or they are just here, but that's okay. Anybody who would like to answer? Am I audible?
Yes, Raj, you are.
Okay, Archita, thanks for the sign. Okay, thank you, Chaitanya. Probably would. Okay, Archita, good to see her. If anybody wants the question repeated, please let us know. Archita, Prahladka, over to you. Good to see you here. Please unmute and speak, and please forgive me for the automated AI machine pronouncing your name like a foreigner, but thank you so much. In one of the videos, Archita, Prahladka. So over to you, Archita.
Yeah.
Feel free to answer that question, or if you want the question
I'm
repeated.
so sorry, actually, I'm out somewhere. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, Archita, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I was just listening to this entire conversation, and thank you, Shubhendu, for your time and imparting all your experiences. So my question to you is something that when I checked your LinkedIn profile, I understood that you've been closely related to a lot of CMOs in general, also at your current role. So also I also talk to and deal with a lot of CXOs and CMOs. So my question is that the nature of a CMO, a role of a CMO has changed over the years. Like before, it was more about nailing the communication strategy and doing traditional advertising. Today, there is so much focus on digital marketing that sometimes, the CMOs are, getting in like they're being caught with not being able to match up with all the trends all the new developments because it's changing so fast. So how do you think that these people are catching up? And because you talk to them very closely, can you tell how has a particular role of a CMO changed over the years?
Thanks, Archita. So the role of a CMO continues to change. Earlier, probably a couple of years back, a CMO would have been content if the customers are aware. So they were focused on more of the branding aspects. Then we saw a term which was emerging, which is performance marketing. For me, there is nothing called as performance marketing. Everything marketing is performance marketing. Even if it is brand, if it doesn't perform, the brand initiatives don't perform, then it is not performance marketing, right? So everything is performance marketing for me. But that term continued to grow. Then there is another term which came in, which was saying growth marketing. So why was it saying? Because now it was not just performance, but the outcome of that performance. So you were saying that, and the outcome for a business is growth. So you started saying that it is growth marketing. So the moment a marketer, a CMO's role evolved from being just a brand marketer or a demand generation person to a growth marketer, you are saying that it is not just only new business coming in or doing an event there, running some campaigns there. That's not what marketing is about. Marketing is about helping the organization grow. Now it can be in any form. It can be in acquiring customers, which is your demand generation function. It can be in retaining customers, in how do I make sure that I deliver a better customer experience? How am I measuring some of the customer experience? What kind of insights I have about my customers? Because people in the buyer stage, they may not be the people who will be in the renewal stage. There are other people who you will work with when the project actually gets started. And by the time the project ends, those are the people who will renew, not the people who you initially acquired them, right? So people are moving, CMOs are seeing this shift happening to becoming growth marketers. Now, growth marketers will also have emphasis on people, the internal employees, the employees who are working with you. What can marketing do to enhance the employee value proposition? What's an employee value proposition? How will the employee go through multiple stages? Now, these are all longer conversations. My only point to make here is that marketing, CMO, plays a much more multifaceted role today than he or she did years back. And so you can see CMOs getting ready for pitch decks while speaking to investors. You can see that they are working on the acquisition plans. And in case of mergers and acquisitions, you can see that they are working on event plans, your normal marketing operations, driving marketing operations teams. And all of this is pointed to only one thing: achieving growth for the organization. Whichever way a CMO can do that, that is in becoming embedded in the remit of the new remit of marketing, or CMO is what I would say. So the role of a CMO will continue to evolve, and CMOs will continue to play major role in even putting together the corporate strategy. In fact, at Forrester, I have authored multiple reports which talk about how CMOs can play a crucial role in corporate strategy, and some of that change has already started. Earlier, CMOs were involved, sometimes they were not involved in the corporate strategy, the business strategy, overall business strategy. CMOs were only focused on the marketing strategy. But then now it is increasingly being seen as a role which can provide significant inputs, insights to how the business should think and act. And so that's the reason why I would say that the role continues to evolve, and it will become more and more strategic as we go forward, and it will play a holistic it will play a role in the holistic growth of the entire organization.
Wow, that's really. So you say that now the roles and responsibilities of a CMO has actually multifolded than before, and they are more aligned to getting more, how to deal with the corporate strategy and even investment pitches. So I get that. So yeah, thanks. Just my last question is that can you, if you think above your mind, what's coming as the top two advices for a career trajectory that you have gone through that we all can, learn from?
So to do a career transition from something else to marketing, is that what your question is?
No, actually, any top two career lessons or advice that you would like to give to all of us here?
Okay. That's a tough question. I would say that, this might sound cliche, but I would say that if there is something which can keep you awake at 2 o'clock in the night, and you enjoy working on it, that's the area you have to be in. And I have, and don't be, this is number one. And the second thing is, which I learned from one of my project managers in Infosys long back, was do not get comfortable in anything. If you start becoming comfortable in one area, change the area. And I have done that all through my life. 5 years, my first 5 years with Infosys, I was like the most comfortable spots in my career. And I was in the US, 3 years in the US, clients, and everybody was like super happy, and nobody wanted me to go away, and all of that was happening. But then I thought that it's time for me to move. And then when I moved on and I did my MBA, I passed out in a recession, and I have seen, and there were days, few days, where I didn't have a job, even though I had a gold medal, which I, passed out after my MBA, but I didn't have a job on there. So I have seen that I had to start again from scratch. So I did, and that was my marketing journey. And then in marketing, I did, start from smaller roles, gradually took up leadership roles, and then took the global leadership role, and all of that I did. And then I said that, then I was becoming more comfortable, and I said that I want to now take up another role of becoming an advisor to companies. Now, again, this is an area which is very different from an execution role. So it's more on every day you would have a different problem to solve for a different organization in a different geography with different constraints. Somebody will have resources as a constraint, somebody will have budget as a constraint, somebody will have organizational dynamics as a constraint. So that's what I have always done. And that whenever you become too comfortable and you feel that your learning is getting stopped, you either go back to college. So I continue doing that. After 5 years of working, I did my MBA. Then after 7 years of working, I did my PhD. And I don't know what to do next to go back to college, but I would say that if you focus on these two things, that will keep you happy and engaged, and you will love what you're doing. And yeah, that's my advice.
That's really great that you could share. I completely agree with those top two lessons. So yeah, what keeps me awake is I really like to help people build their personal brands, and I left my job 8 months back to do this full time with just one client, and I'm loving the journey from there. So it's really important for us to love what we are doing. Only then we can actually think of growth exponentially. So yeah, and yes, not being
Absolutely.
comfortable for sure. Thank you
Absolutely.
so
And
much.
all the very best. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Archita. So over to you, Humera. Probably you can wrap it up with the rest of the questions. We will leave it in the LinkedIn group. I have also shared the LinkedIn group in WhatsApp, asking everybody to join Shubhendu's LinkedIn group.
Yeah,
And
I don't have more questions now, Raj. So we can wrap it up with a note from Shubhendu sir
yeah.
to all of us.
So probably please do the honors, Shubhendu, for any quick notes before we wrap it up for tonight. As in, it's been. I'm sure that this will be like tsunami waves. I mean, this topic, ocean full of topic, ocean's depth. It'll never end for sure. But please take over and give any ending note. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I would say, I mean, I kind of gave in my perspective in the last question. So I would say that stick to what you really love, and then stick to it for a really long time, because over a period of time you would start seeing that the results will come in. It's I think sticking to the course and following what you are really passionate about doing and which actually excites you, and there is a continuous opportunity to learn. That worked for me, and I'm sure that that will work for anyone who is trying on those lines. So yeah,
Yeah,
all the very best.
like the peaks and valleys, I guess the ups and downs for a marketer would always be there. I mean, gold medalist from
Yeah.
Singapore is what I've seen on your profile, MBA, and also with respect to the part which you said where startups, just because there are social media pages, lots of them, and they don't post, or probably they do lots of research. What's the point in posting when they don't do any competitor analysis? Chakri, would you like to add anything before we wrap this up? Neil, David brother. Yeah, Chakri, please speak. You want to say
Yeah,
anything?
Raz, there is not much to take because as Shubhendu talking, and so there are a couple of questions. It's more covered in high level strategy. Again, the same way. Yeah, the guy who is into zero level, like who is going to start a budding entrepreneur, a budding marketer, also can relate. These are the points. So I think I'm happy Shubhendu can spending time, and he given a lot opportunity. And so I'm sure guys, listeners are grab the knowledge. Already they got some insights from Chaitanya, also given some points. So yeah, Raj, I'm really happy to see once again all people in the summit.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So everybody will join in. Neil, David, brother, Ritu Jain, thank you so much for joining in. Kunal, so we all will see you on 18th November. Shubhendu, I would, before we end this, I just have a request. Like probably the monthly newsletter is something which you should get back, or probably you should delegate to any of the interns out there. So I did
Yeah.
subscribe. I also shared it in the group, but keep it
Yeah,
going.
I did see
Okay,
that. Thanks.
Neil David brother will end with Neil. He's our rapper. He's our essayist. He's our Rabindranath Tagore. Neil David brother. Over to you.
I know Neil. I have heard him speak as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
he's here. I was waiting for him to be on the speakers panel for last 30 minutes, but he's here in the last 30 seconds, I guess. Over to you, Neil David brother. Please unmute and speak.
All right, got it. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Subhendu, again, it's great listening to you. I'm very glad that all have joined here again, and listening to everyone, just refreshes my memory about my days back in those Iden days. I moved to Mumbai right now and just started my fresh start with startup here. And I think today I just wanted to only talk about how the session has been. I think the insights that Subhendu has provided, it's always uh, great. He comes up with a very precise and specific details about marketing, especially. And no matter how much you try to venture, I'm sure there's a lot more to dig. And that's exactly what I enjoyed. The reason why I was not talking is honestly because I just love listening. To his especially the strategies that he gives, and that exactly made this entire event. And I'm not so familiar about Humera, but Humera did a great job today as well. How the way she has moderated, hosted, and Raj, it's obviously, and Chakri, no words for you, man. I mean, I think most of the people who came to your desk or something, I think they have changed their careers more than 5 times, but there's one person who consistently did the same thing with him, and that's exactly what Chakri is. No matter on any time that you see, you'll obviously see this man has very specific the dates. I don't know how he does his own growth hacking stuff in bringing new people into like picture, bringing on more technological avenues as well. So great, everyone. Like I love like being the last person speaking here, but I'm sure like I have
The one
others
thing,
as well.
yeah, the one thing common between Shubhendu sir and you is you both are MBA folks. Probably you should do something in writing, be it essays or blogs. Blogs are never dead. Probably the emails which are evergreen forever. Should do some content writing.
I know. I've actually been doing something, especially in the areas of the college line right now with the admissions.
Yeah.
I've running my own stuff. So yeah,
Probably,
but like
probably a course on how to publish your newsletter, LinkedIn newsletters, monthly newsletters. Probably there's a huge market out there because everybody goes through that procrastination and all. But thank you guys, thank you everybody, thank you Humera, thank you Shubhendu. We've crossed. I thought we'll go over by 5 minutes, but thank you so much, Neil David brother. We would love to see you as one of the speakers. Book your tickets for 18 November. We'll see you in Hyderabad.
sure.
Thank you all. Thank you, Shubhendu sir, once again.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
Chaitanya
you.
Belli.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you,
all.
Shubhendu sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, Raj.
thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Chikragavi.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.